So, what does the Bible have to say about Christmas? Well, actually, the Bible doesn't have anything to say about Christmas as we know it. Christians didn't start celebrating the birth of Jesus as an event till a number of centuries later. And no, you won't read about Santa Claus in the Bible, so I better take my hat off. However, the Bible does have a lot to say about Jesus and his coming into this world. Many of you will be familiar with these Bible stories, the stories of the virgin birth, the events in Bethlehem, the shepherds, the wise men, the stable, etc. You can read about these in the early part of the New Testament. You can read the Christmas story in the first 2 chapters of Matthew and also in the first 2 chapters of Luke's Gospel. These stories that we've mentioned in Matthew and Luke were written after the events took place. However, there are a number of Old Testament scriptures that point forward and predict the coming of Jesus. What I find really exciting about that is that they were written hundreds of years before it actually took place. To me, that gives great credibility to the authenticity of the Bible and the fact that it was God who was working through human writers to bring the good news of his coming Son to us. Right in the beginning of the book of Genesis, written approximately 1500 years before Christ, we have a reference, as well as the prophet books of Micah and Isaiah, around 700-800 years BC. The details of the Virgin giving birth to a son could only have been conveyed to us by the Spirit of God. All these prophecies that we've just mentioned all came to pass with amazing accuracy. We shouldn't be surprised about that, because the Bible is God's word and it's his way of communicating his message and his good news to mankind. One good example is to be found in John's first epistle, where it says this: "This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world, that we might live through him." The Christmas message is only part of the story. The Bible goes on to tell us why God sent his Son to bring hope and salvation to a lost and fallen humanity. So why this Christmas don't you dig into this great book and find out for yourself?